Welcome back, true believers and spectacular Spidey fans all around, to another Spider-Man PS4 related video. And now I am kind of going back on track to the speculation, theory, and analysis videos that I was doing before. These are just questions or my thoughts that I have come up with that could be featured or maybe inputted into Spider-Man PS4 in some way, or guesses on what I think could be in there, things that we want, things that Insomniac could do, or things that have already happened and we have not seen yet in regards to Spider-Man PS4. And you all know what I'm talking about. These are the videos that I've done the majority of the time. I am almost done with the Spider-Man PS4 Pro related videos, but right now I wanted to go back into this one because this is a topic that I've been meaning to do for a while now, ever since Spider-Man PS4 was announced, and I haven't been able to do it. But hopefully this video will give you some insight on what I am thinking about and how I think it could be inputted into the game. So, this video's topic today is what comic book storylines could be interpreted into Spider-Man PS4. So, like the Batman Arkham games, especially in Batman Arkham Knight, Batman Arkham Knight featured about at least 3 main Batman stories, including The Killing Joke, which was heavily featured in Arkham Origins, Batman The Dark Knight Returns, of course, and Under the Red Hood, and Batman Hush. There was a lot of references to those comics and a lot of story references taken directly from those comics and put into the game, where we actually, in Batman Arkham Origins, regardless of what you think of that game, the scene where we are controlling Joker playing out the Killing Joke is probably a dream come true for some hardcore Batman fans. And at the time, I actually did not know about the Killing Joke as much as a lot of other people did. So after I saw it, or after I read it, I should say, and then replayed or rewatched that scene from Arkham Origins, I almost shed a tear because of how emotionally impactful that scene was for hardcore Batman and Joker fans. And if Insomniac can do that for Spider-Man, which I know they will, and the fact that they are going original with this story, like they are going to Marvel writers to write a really thorough story for Spider-Man, similar to how in Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, Beanox went to Dan Slott, and Dan Slott made the story for that game. So Insomniac is going to Marvel for this Spider-Man game, but that doesn't mean that they can't reference old Spider-Man comics or, other Spider-Man comics to input in the game somehow. Even in, like, the Beanox games, there were a lot of references in the Amazing Spider-Man games to Ultimate Spider-Man comics, where in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game, when you were fighting Kingpin, Spider-Man said direct quotes from that of the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. Lines of making fun of Kingpin, which was hilarious. So, on to the comics that I think will make an appearance, or at least make a reference in this Spider-Man PS4 game from Insomniac, is, excuse me, New Ways to Die, by John Romita and all these other amazing authors. So this book, if you have not read it, involves the story of Mr. Negative and Anti-Venom. So, of course, this is going to be kind of the first prominent feature that we have seen in Spider-Man PS4 regarding the villain, which, what I mean by that is this is kind of Mr. Negative's first full-on appearance in a Spider-Man game, and he will be a prominent villain in this game. Not the main villain, at least I don't think so. I think he will be a big villain, just not a main villain. The main villain, I'm assuming, is Green Goblin, but it would be cool if Mr. Negative was, and if he is, or if he's just a really major role in the game, I think Insomniac could reference this book. It has a lot of cool features of how Mr. Negative works as a crime boss, as a kind of like a gangster kingpin type model for crime lords and upcoming thugs and criminals in the underbelly of New York City, and shows the story of Eddie Brock and how Anti-Venom affects Eddie Brock to become Anti-Venom. And it's a really cool story to see how Mr. Negative's powers work, how Anti-Venom is born, and see how Spider-Man deals with this whole situation. Next up, since following along with the unknown villains, since Mr. Negative is quite an unknown character, we haven't really seen that many unknown characters in Spider-Man movies or games. Comics, there's so many villains and characters to choose from, which is why I think He Who Is Without Sin could work perfectly with this game. If you don't know what this book is, it features the villain known as Sin Eater and Captain Jean DeWolf's death from Sin Eater. And Sin Eater is a very impactful and deadly villain towards Spider-Man, and they have a lot of history with each other. I won't spoil it for you guys, but basically he is a bad dude. He is really skilled with guns, and he ends up murdering Jean DeWolf, and that throws Spider-Man over the edge and tests his patience and almost kills Sin Eater because of it. And since this is an experienced Spider-Man, I would love to see how this Spider-Man reacts to situations like this, especially if it involves killing someone like Jean DeWolf, and seeing how a murderer like Sin Eater could get away with it, or even think about getting away with it, since Spider-Man is so experienced and worthy of being the hero that New York City needs, but not the, menace that J. Jonah Jameson is always putting him out to be. So it could be a way of Spider-Man has to test his limits, test his mental and physical boundaries of having to arrest Sin Eater, but really being almost murder-like towards him because of how he killed Jean DeWolf, just like how Spider-Man keeps thinking about Uncle Ben's death when this situation happens. Like, he could have saved her, but he didn't. And that really messes with Spider-Man's head because of how with great power comes great responsibility. So that would be a really cool thing to show in this game, and a really cool idea to play around with this storyline. And for the final storyline, this one is actually from the 90s animated series. If you have seen that series, you guys will know exactly what this is. The only difference is that in the 90s animated series, this story featured a girl instead of a boy. But basically, this comic is called The Kid Who Collects Spider-Man, and this kid basically is Spider-Man's #1 fan, and Spider-Man goes to encounter with this kid in public, or not in public, in this kid's room, and actually just be there and kind of inform this kid and make this kid's dreams come true, and actually meet Spider-Man in person and show this kid what it means to be a hero and how he can be a hero as well. And it's even sadder. There's this one really sad mini comic or little mini panel or something like that, where this is kind of like the same premise, but there's this homeless girl, and she lives in a cardboard box, and she only has pictures and news clippings from the Daily Bugle of Spider-Man saving everyone. So at the end of that, she dies because she has illness. She has like AIDS or cancer or something, and she ends up dying, and Spider-Man doesn't know about her until the end of the novel, and he wishes he could have been there for her. But before she died, Spider-Man got to swing her around the city one last time, which was very sweet. And I forget if that's the case with this boy. I don't know if this boy has an illness or anything. If he does, I would really love to see the passionate characteristics of Spider-Man and Peter Parker interact with someone who looks up to Spider-Man. It would prove that Spider-Man is one of the, if not the best superheroes of all time, and would do something that the Arkham games have not done, which is really show a vivid connection between the hero and the person who is under the mask. And that is all I have for you today, webheads. I'm so sorry my voice is killing me. I do apologize, but thank you so much for watching this video anyways. Stay spectacular, true believers. Peace out.